Dan-A went to the company to find J-Rim. Dan-A also told J-Rim about the bet with Cha-min, and their bet was whether J-Rim could marry a rich person or not. J-Rim asked why they bet on her. Dan-A said that J-Rim had dated many men, and that Cha-min took the initiative to kiss J-Rim at the party to make Do-hong jealous. Cha-min did that, so J-Rim could marry Do-hong. Dan-A then apologized to J-Rim on behalf of Cha-min for being rude at the party. J-Rim knew that she was being played around like a toy, so she argued with Dan-A. She told Dan-A directly that Cha-min was a very good kisser. This made Dan-A extremely angry. Cha-min saw that J-Rim was unhappy, so he asked what happened at Do-hong's studio yesterday. It was obvious that Cha-min took the initiative to kiss J-Rim. He even agreed to let her go to Do-hong's studio, but now he asked what happened there. J-Rim felt that everything Cha-min did was just a joke, and he said that she was the one who put her own interests first. He thought that he did it for her own good. Cha-min then apologized for not caring about her thoughts, but J-Rim made it clear to him that she would not accept this false kindness. J-Rim asked Cha-min not to mind his own business, because Dan-A was angry because of J-Rim and did not want to eat. She told her uncle to go buy bread at Namsan. She also told her uncle to bring it back before the bakery closed. The uncle knew that Dan-A's anger was related to J-Rim, so he took J-Rim away. At this time, J-Rim's best friend could not contact her. Her best friend Sunjong was afraid that something would happen to J-Rim, so she went to the company to look for her. Sunjong coincidentally met Cha-min. She told Cha-min that she could not contact J-Rim. Cha-min remembered that J-Rim had said not to interfere in her personal affairs, so he immediately acted like he did not care. Luckily, Dan-A's two uncles were not very smart. They did not put J-Rim's phone away, but just went out for a late-night snack. Then J-Rim shouted a command and opened her phone. She ordered the phone to call Sunjong. When Cha-min heard that J-Rim was kidnapped, he immediately ran to her location, but when the two uncles returned, they forced J-Rim to sign an agreement to leave Cheongdam Heaven. But these days, jobs are hard to find. J-Rim resolutely refused to sign the agreement. Seeing that J-Rim was so disobedient, the uncle took out a hair clipper to threaten her. Luckily, at the last minute, Cha-min arrived at the scene. J-Rim saw him coming to save her and also smiled with relief. Cha-min used an umbrella to challenge the two uncles. They were not Cha-min's opponents. In just a few minutes, they were easily defeated by him. Cha-min ran up and hugged J-Rim. Through this, the two realized each other's feelings. Cha-min wanted to express his feelings to J-Rim, but he did not have the courage to say it. In the end, he only reminded her to be careful on the road. When they got back to the car, Cha-min scolded herself for being a coward. At this time, J-Rim remembered the scene where Cha-min came to save her. She was sure that he liked her, but did not understand why he did not express his feelings, but she thought that she was not outstanding, so he did not want to date her. When J-Rim just got home, her older sister, Hwa-jin, scolded J-Rim for not only accepting the doctor's money, but also helping that promiscuous doctor pursue her eldest sister Soo-jin. J-Rim did receive money from the doctor, but it was actually money she borrowed from him. At that time, J-Rim wanted to borrow money from Soo-jin, but she was called away because of a phone call. The doctor knew that J-Rim wanted to borrow money, so he immediately made a condition. J-Rim only needed to tell Soo-jin's ring size, and the doctor would lend J-Rim money. J-Rim thought that the doctor was sincerely pursuing Soo-jin, and at that time, J-Rim needed money to pray, so she told the doctor Soo-jin's ring size. Thanks to that, she was able to borrow money to pray. Because the eldest sister Soo-jin refused the doctor's confession, he asked J-Rim if there was any other way. J-Rim knew that Soo-jin loved her mother the most, so she told the doctor to treat her mother well. In the end, the doctor bought cosmetics and beef to visit J-Rim's mother, which made his relationship with Soo-jin progress better. What J-Rim didn't expect was that while the doctor was pursuing Soo-jin, he was also pursuing another woman. At this time, not only did the second sister Hwa-jin think J-Rim was selfish, she also blamed J-Rim for everything. The mother had to stop them from arguing. She also had to take the initiative to take the blame. But Hwa-jin thought that her mother didn't need to help J-Rim. She also thought that J-Rim didn't see them as relatives. At this time, J-Rim also thought that they didn't see her as family. She felt like a beggar living in this house. This statement completely denied her stepmother's more than 10 years of raising her. Hwa-jin felt that J-Rim's words were too much, so she slapped her, and she also told her to get out of this house. Because J-Rim had nowhere else to go, she returned to her old house. This house was not only cold, but there was also no water to bathe in. The next day, Cha-min used all kinds of reasons to tell his subordinates to learn a self-defense move, but in fact, his purpose was to want J-Rim to learn how to save herself. But J-Rim was half an hour late for work. Through J-Rim's explanation, Cha-min knew that she had moved. After that, he taught her martial arts. First, he told J-Rim to act like a pervert, and then Cha-min would teach her self-defense. Next, Cha-min hugged J-Rim like a pervert, which made both of them feel their hearts beat faster. To control himself, Cha-min pushed J-Rim to the ground. Cha-min wasn't gentle at all. J-Rim's throat hurt because he pushed her too hard. Now it was Cha-min's turn to act like a pervert. To get revenge for what just happened, J-Rim pushed him down when Cha-min wasn't paying attention. She saw that she had gotten her revenge and smiled with satisfaction. Then Cha-min talked about the importance of back muscles and told J-Rim to feel her strength. Just as she was feeling it, Do-hong looked for J-Rim again. Do-hong deliberately talked about yesterday's incident in front of Cha-min. Do-hong said that he had a good time with J-Rim at the vo studio. Then Do-hong asked to talk to Jae-rim privately. Jae-rim didn't want to continue practicing, so he agreed to talk to Do-hong. In the end, Cha-min had to watch them leave. He was so angry that he wanted to tear Do-hong in half. This time, Do-hong officially confessed to Jae-rim, but she thought that he didn't understand what kind of woman she was. If Do-hong knew her current situation, he wouldn't have taken the initiative to confess. Meanwhile, Do-hong confidently accepted everything from Jae-rim. On this side, Cha-min imagined that Do-hong and Jae-rim had kissed at the studio. He felt regretful about his decision. Then Cha-min used the excuse that he was seriously injured by Jae-rim during practice to talk to her. Jae-rim said that when practicing, she had to make it look real. Then she deliberately mentioned that Do-hong confessed. Cha-min heard the word confession and objected to this. He pointed out that Do-hong was a liar. Do-hong often broke his word. At this time, Jae-rim also saw that Cha-min's words made sense. It was clear that the environment she grew up in was different from Do-hong's, but he wanted to confess to her. Cha-min thought that the difference in environment was not a big deal. It was this statement that made Jae-rim think that Cha-min would also accept a different girl, but Cha-min did not admit it. He also told Jae-rim not to get close to Do-hong anymore. Cha-min wanted to express his feelings to Jae-rim, but at the crucial moment, he still could not say it. Jae-rim suddenly invited Cha-min to stay at his house for a night. It turned out that Jae-rim wanted to confirm whether Cha-min could stay for a night in a poor environment. When he went to Jae-rim's house, he saw that there was nothing in her house. The most prominent thing was her bed. Jae-rim then said that she grew up in such an environment, but Cha-min thought that the poor situation was her fault. He then asked why Jae-rim moved away. Jae-rim said that she was a bad child, a greedy and useless woman like her. Staying at home would only be a burden to her family. Cha-min helped Jae-rim overcome that pain. He helped Jae-rim see herself clearly after she realized that she could also become a love child. Then Jae-rim also realized that she just wanted to hear others say that she was a cute child. Even though she pretended not to need those words, when she was comforted, Jae-rim still shed tears. So Jae-rim discovered that Cha-min had a reason for not admitting his feelings, which led to the delay in confessing. On this side, Hwa-jin found the doctor to avenge Soo-jin. Hwa-jin said that the beef he brought was not delicious. Unexpectedly, the doctor said that the beef was bought by Jae-rim, and the skincare products for her mother were also bought by Jae-rim. Jae-rim was afraid that they would not accept it, so she asked the doctor to give it to her. When Hwa-jin knew the truth, she realized that she had misunderstood Jae-rim. On this side, Cha-min, in order to prove that he could stay here for one night, resolutely refused to leave. But just as they were sitting next to each other, the phone rang to notify them that there would be a snowstorm in a few hours. In the end, Cha-min had to take Jae-rim to his house. When they got home, the first thing Jae-rim wanted to do was take a warm bath. Halfway through the bath, Jae-rim realized that she did not know how to turn off the faucet, so she had to ask Cha-min to turn it off for her. After he turned off the water, Cha-min was attracted to Jae-rim's face again. He was afraid that he would not be able to control himself, so he tried to leave, but when he stood up, he slipped. The unexpected incident caused Jae-rim to fall as well, which accidentally caused them to kiss. Jae-rim dodged to avoid the situation where both of them were embarrassed. Cha-min was still trying to control himself, but he couldn't help but kiss Jae-rim. She also closed her eyes to enjoy this unexpected kiss. Then Jae-rim received a call from Hwa-jin. She also invited her home to eat beef. At this time, Cha-min still thought that Do-hong called to stop Jae-rim from going to Do-hong's place. Cha-min wanted to keep her, but he accidentally pulled her bathrobe. He begged Jae-rim not to go to Do-hong's house. After Jae-rim explained, Cha-min knew that Jae-rim was going home to eat beef. At this time, Jae-rim was still outside the door hoping Cha-min would come out to keep her, but he thought he was not even as good as beef. Finally, Jae-rim moved back home, and she saw that her two sisters had drunk quite a lot of alcohol. Then, her mother pulled Jae-rim back and asked if Jae-rim was serious when she said that they were not family. In fact, Jae-rim felt that they could not become real family members, so she deliberately acted like she was an extra in this family. Jae-rim apologized to her mother for her mistakes, but her mother thought that even if Jae-rim did something wrong, she was still a relative of her mother and sisters. After the whole family confided in each other, they mended their previous relationship. Jae-rim then apologized to her eldest sister, Soo-jin, but her eldest sister thought that this matter had nothing to do with her because Soo-jin was the one who loved that doctor. In the end, the whole family made peace with each other, and second sister Hwa-jin also joked with Jae-rim like before. On this side, Cha-min went to the hospital room to visit his father, but the first thing he said to Cha-min was to remember that women are rocks. The pain that Cha-min's mother caused him was the clearest proof. When he was young, Cha-min heard his grandmother say that his mother was having an affair and was planning to run away from home with her lover. When Cha-min chased after her, he accidentally fell, causing his fingernails to not heal completely. This also left a big wound in Cha-min's heart. From then on, he always used an umbrella to hide his inner feelings. This is also the reason why he always carries an umbrella with him, and that is also the reason why he has not confessed to Jae-rim, because he is afraid of being hurt by a woman again. Today, Do-hong brought a mysterious guest to Cheongdam Heaven. Through Do-hong's introduction, Jae-rim knew that this woman is a movie tycoon. The company had decorated the Christmas tree a week ago. Jae-rim saw that the tree was so beautiful that she smiled brightly, but Cha-min looked at her with an expression of wanting to love but not daring to love. Dan-ae and Do-hong had extremely unpleasant expressions. Dan-ae and Ga-young intended to harm harm Jae-rim, so Ga-young poured water directly in front of Jae-rim, and they even asked Jae-rim to clean up immediately, but Jae-rim was not angry at all. She quietly took out a mop to clean the floor. Ga-young poured more water on Jae-rim's mop. Jae-rim couldn't take it anymore, so she pulled out her stick to threaten Ga-young. Ga-young was so scared that she could only run to Do-hong's side, but this time, he didn't help but pushed her hand away. Do-hong pointed out that there was nothing wrong with Jae-rim defending herself. He even thought that Ga-young was the one who was wrong. Do-hong then publicly explained that Jae-rim didn't seduce him, but that he was the one who always liked her. Do-hong's confession surprised everyone present. Of course, Cha-min was the same. Later, Cha-min and Do-hong met again in the bathroom. Do-hong advised Cha-min to quickly marry his fiancée and told Cha-min to take the initiative to back out. Do-hong said that he would take care of Jae-rim in Cha-min's place. This statement agitated Cha-min. He immediately stepped forward and punched Do-hong. They fought from the bathroom to the lobby. Jae-rim and the mysterious woman saw them fighting and immediately stepped forward to stop them, but the mysterious woman did not hit Cha-min. She only patted Do-hong's head. Her actions seemed to be to protect Cha-min. Do-hong then asked Jae-rim to come to the office to talk. The mysterious woman also signaled Jae-rim to get in the car. She then revealed herself, revealing that she was Cha-min's biological mother. Cha-min's mother told her about past. She did not get along with her mother-in-law, so Cha-min's grandmother took advantage of the time when Cha-min's father was away on a business trip to kick her out of the house. The grandmother also falsely accused Cha-min's mother of having an affair with another man. When leaving, the mother saw Cha-min fall down with her own eyes. She begged the driver to let her get out of the car, but the driver refused to let her get out. At that time, she hated herself for not being able to protect her son. Now that she had succeeded, she just wanted to take Cha-min home, but she thought it was too late. Jae-rim suggested that she find Cha-min to talk, but she still didn't have the courage to meet her son. At this time, Jae-rim gradually understood Cha-min's personality. Because he lacked love since childhood, he often hid his feelings in his heart. The next day, Jae-rim took the initiative to ask Cha-min out to eat. Cha-min happily agreed. Cha-min went to the restaurant and found out that Jae-rim had made an appointment for him to meet his mother. Cha-min said that he didn't need his mother, and he told her to leave immediately. His mother explained to him that she didn't have an affair, and she apologized for hurting Cha-min, but he didn't believe what his mother said. He even thought it was all lies. Cha-min thought his mother was selfish. Now she came back just to ask for more compensation. Even though Cha-min's mother sincerely wanted to apologize to her son, Cha-min still didn't believe her. Cha-min left the restaurant. Jae-rim came to comfort him and told him to sympathize with his mother. Jae-rim advised him not to doubt his mother's love, but Cha-min still didn't believe in love anymore. Jae-rim hugged Cha-min and told him to feel this love. Even though there were loves that could not be expressed in words, it was definitely still in his heart. Through Jae-rim's advice, Cha-min began to understand his mother's suffering. Jae-rim slowly soothed his emotions. Cha-min threw away the umbrella, which also meant that he had let go of the pain of the past. Then the two drank together. Cha-min didn't know whether to forgive his mother because he felt that his father was pitiful, but Jae-rim thought that his mother was even more pitiful because she was looked down upon by her son. Cha-min thought that what Jae-rim said was true. After the two of them had gone through so many things, he curiously asked if Jae-rim's dream of becoming Cinderella had changed. Unexpectedly, her dream remained unchanged. When Cha-min asked carefully, he found out that Jae-rim had once had a dream of becoming a great artist, but because of her family circumstances, she had to give up her dream. Cha-min encouraged her to persevere, but now Jae-rim just wants to be Cinderella. She wants to accept true love and live happily with the person she loves. Cha-min told Jae-rim that she was excellent and beautiful. Jae-rim thought he was drunk, so he complimented her like that. Then Cha-min asked her what she wanted to understand about him last time. Jae-rim remembered Cha-min's spoiled appearance and couldn't help but feel shy. Finally, the two began their sweet dates. When Cha-min brought Jae-rim home, he had to watch her enter the house before leaving. After he got home, he remembered Jae-rim hugging him and dancing happily. The next day they met, but at this time, a naughty child aimed a water gun at them and started shooting. Cha-min immediately opened an umbrella to block the water jet, but Jae-rim told him that he didn't need to always carry an umbrella to defend this world because living like that would be very tiring. Cha-min was encouraged by Jae-rim, so he gave her the umbrella to keep. At night, Cha-min bought gifts and flowers to meet Jae-rim, but on the way he met Dan-A. Dan-A saw the things in Cha-min's hand. Cha-min admitted that he liked Jae-rim. When Dan-A found out, she said she would ruin Jae-rim. When Dan-A was about to leave, Cha-min stopped her. He asked Dan-A what he had to do to make Dan-A forgive Jae-rim. The next day, Jae-rim heard that Dan-A and Cha-min were going to get married. Jae-rim couldn't believe that the man who was close to her yesterday was now about to marry another woman. At this time, Do-hong appeared and pulled Jae-rim away. Do-hong told her not to let Cha-min fool her. Do-hong gave Jae-rim a plane ticket. He told her to quit her job and go with him. Because Hong is preparing to attend a film festival in Berlin, he invites Jae-rim to go on a business trip to study for a month, but Jae-rim hasn't made a decision yet. She just feels that she might not be worthy of Cha-min. On this side, Cha-min watches his fiancée try on a wedding dress without any joy. This makes Dan-A unhappy. Forced fate is often not complete. At this time, Jae-rim is still crying because of men's indifference. On this side, Soo-jin brings her boyfriend, a doctor, home. It turns out that everything before was just a misunderstanding. The person he loves forever is only Soo-jin. Jae-rim is still wondering whether to go to Berlin to pursue her career or not. When the doctor comes to find her, Jae-rim wants to know how he got Soo-jin back. The doctor said that he wanted to fulfill the other person's dream, and more importantly, he knows that he is also very good. On this side, Dan-a goes home and cries to her father. Even though she really likes Chaemin, when she thinks about marrying such a cold person, Dan-a still can't accept it because she was always treated like a princess. She also wanted to find someone who truly loved her. The next day, when Jae-rim went to work, she found that the company door was closed and everyone was waiting outside. When she called, she found out that they were all enjoying their day off. The doctor's words encouraged Jae-rim, which made her feel more confident. She wanted to confess to Chaemin, but when she opened the door, she saw the wound at the corner of Chaemin's mouth. Chaemin was very cold to her. When Jae-rim said that Do-hong wanted her to quit her job and go to Berlin together, after hearing this, Chaemin did not object, which made Jae-rim completely disappointed. She had to give up before she could confess. Chaemin also added that he was only with her to play around. Jae-rim sat down on the door in pain. It turned out that the day before, when Chaemin was drinking alone, a group of people suddenly broke in and vandalized the club. The leader is Dan-a's father. After he scolded Chaemin, Chaemin's father appeared. Chaemin said that he couldn't live without Jae-rim, but Chaemin's father thought that Jae-rim only loved Chaemin for money and that sooner or later he would be abandoned. Chaemin's father even said that no one in this world would love him anymore. Chaemin looked at the scarf Jae-rim left at his house. He just wanted her to be happy. The next day, Jae-rim still couldn't get over her painful feelings, and suddenly, she received a package. The picture inside surprised her. It was a picture Jae-rim drew when she was little. She drew herself riding a white horse. The last time Chaemin went to her old house, he picked it up in the trash. Chaemin asked someone to restore this picture. Jae-rim saw the message he left on the paper, saying that she would always be a knight. Jae-rim remembered when she was little, the scene where her mother left her for someone else. At that time, she thought she wouldn't be loved like other children. From then on, her existence became more and more blurred. When Jae-rim's father died, she hid behind the wall and cried silently. The reason she always hated herself and didn't dare to confess to Chaemin was because she never knew how to love herself. Actually, since she was little, Jae-rim knew that the prince who would accompany her for the rest of her life could only be herself. No matter what kind of person you are, you must know how to love yourself and have the courage to live on. The next day, she tried to be happier, but she knew that Chaemin was kicked out of the house for breaking off the engagement, and Cheongdam Heaven was destroyed. Jae-rim paid for Do-hong's plane ticket and refused his kindness. Now that Jae-rim has more courage, she picks up a paintbrush and starts her dream, but Chaemin's figure still appears next to her from time to time. She also imagines Chaemin begging at the subway station. At first, she didn't want to interfere in his life, but when she remembered the beautiful memories of their time together, she unconsciously went to the door of Cheongdam Heaven and entered. Jae-rim discovered a sneaky figure. She hit him with a stick, but it turned out to be the man she always remembered. After she turned on the light, Jae-rim was finally able to face her feelings. She told Chaemin directly that she liked him. Even though he had nothing left at the moment, he gave Jae-rim the strength and confidence. Chaemin finally expressed his love. In his eyes, everyone else was just rocks. Only Jae-rim made his heart flutter. They finally got back together. Then Chaemin went to see his father. He told him that even if he had nothing left, he still had someone who loved him. He was ready to leave his father to start his own career. This time, Chaemin came just to say goodbye to him. But before he could go far, his father called him back to inherit the family business. Because her father's young girlfriend had returned, he also wanted to go on a date. At this time, Jae-rim's career was also successful. Her scene in Do-hong's film received praise from the animation director, so she was invited to participate in the production of the animation. 6 months later, her stepmother was about to give birth. Hwa-jin even took out her father's portrait to encourage her mother. As a result, the mother had another daughter. Jae-rim became a businesswoman, and the animation she participated in was also a great success. Today's film ends here. See you again in the next videos.